Where I got lightweight contender Tony Lewis, who's joining us this Saturday night on ESPN Plus here in the United States. Takes on Arnold Barboza Jr. in a big fight. Like I said, the fight's going to be shown live on ESPN Plus in the United States. What's up, Tony?
Not too much, man. I'm good. How you doing?
Doing good. So we got this big fight coming up. How's everything going with training and everything? How were you able to, get by the shutdown that's been all over this world? I guess gyms were shut down in Canada for a while.
Yeah, gyms. But luckily for me, I got the keys to my own boxing gym.
Okay.
So I was able to. I stayed in shape throughout the pandemic. Obviously, I had to go without sparring for a few months, but I started sparring again in July, like early July. And actually, no, that's not true. We started sparring in June, slowly, and then we actually tried to make this fight with Barboza early July, and they wanted more time to lose the weight on his side. And that was okay because it gave me more time to get ready and line up some better quality sparring anyway, and have a full training camp. So I've been good, man. I've been staying in shape, and I found ways, and I was able to get some good sparring in and around the area from guys from Montreal to Ottawa to Toronto and Hamilton. We had guys coming down and helping me out. So we had lots of good guys that helped get me ready.
So all things considered, you would say you had as smooth a training camp as possible with everything going, or
100%. Look, I knew, and this goes out to. There's been some guys on the American side that have been seeing this as because they go based on. They think when the fight was announced, when the press release was published, that's when I started training. No. Like this is why some guys, everybody's allowed an opinion, but they really need to shut the fucking mouth unless they know behind the scenes. Because I didn't start getting ready 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. I've been getting ready all summer. This fight was supposed to happen in July. It's happening now. And I stayed in shape throughout the pandemic anyway, because I knew that if a call was going to come when things would slowly open up again, guys were going to have to be ready, because I figured the calls were going to be short notice, for the most part. So I knew that I wanted to be one of those guys. If I got a call, I wanted to make sure that I was already ready, at least in somewhat fighting shape, so I could take these opportunities,
You mentioned that, this is a fight with Barboza that you kind of wanted. Why him? You obviously, you fought veteran guys. You fought for the world championship. He's more of a guy who's on the up and come, so to speak. So why choose this fight?
Because this is the one that puts me back on the map and makes a statement at 140. I mean, I just moved up late last year. I had one tune-up fight at 140, but this would be my first fight against a full-fledged junior welterweight, and I want to do it against a guy who's who's gonna put me cross the rankings, get me on the verge of an immediate title shot. And Barboza's that guy to do it.
You've won 10 in a row, and like you said, you're just now moving up, or you had one fight before at 140. So I guess maybe you'd won eight in a row or so at 135 since the fight with Matthews in 2015. Why the move up? You just couldn't make the weight anymore, or you just the better fights were at 140?
No, I think both fights are both divisions are pretty stacked. My body just outgrew it. I've been making the same weight since I was 21, and it was just time. My body was telling me something. The last 2, 3 fights I had at 35, it was getting harder and harder to make the weight. And then the fight with Estrella last year for the belt, I missed it by 2 pounds for the first time in my career. I missed weight, and I did everything right in training camp, and I had a full camp. So it was just my body telling me it was time.
So at 140 pounds, what's the difference? I mean, in terms of, first, before we go, what kind of a fighter you be at 140 pounds? How much stronger that that there's extra 5 pounds? Not having to destroy yourself to make that weight. Have you noticed the difference in that so far?
Yeah, I mean, look, Yes. First off, definitely going to be stronger because I'm not. It gets to a certain point where cutting weight is never fun, no matter what. But it gets to a point where it starts when it starts cutting into muscle, and not if there's no more fat left to give and you're cutting into muscle, well, it's getting to be a problem. So I won't have to worry about that at 140. It doesn't mean it's still not a cakewalk. It's only 5 more pounds. It's not a cakewalk. It's still work. It's still sacrifices to make weight, but it's much more manageable at this point in my career than making 135.
I know, and I may be just throwing stuff up in the air, but the last guy I just interviewed, Thomas Lamana, he's fighting on a card at 154 pounds, and the main event is Lara against Vendetti at 154 pounds.
Yeah, yeah.
He told me he's on that. They told him he's a possible standby. I didn't realize that you were fighting at 140 pounds. The main event is a 140-pound world title fight. Have you been asked, just in case someone doesn't,
For the main event?
Yeah.
No, because it's pretty locked and solid for Barboza because Barboza's top ranked guy too.
So do you know that for a fact that Barboza is the quote could be a standby for Ramirez should whatever happened with the main event?
Oh, I haven't heard that yet.
Oh no, I'm asking you. I don't know. I don't know.
I haven't heard anything about either of us being a standby for if Ramirez. But yeah, that'd be quite something. Yeah, if one of the guys tests positive for the main event and they need to fill in, that could always happen. And I don't know what happens to me. Maybe they send me home. I don't know.
Yeah, because they said that. I mean, I know a lot of these cards. They're putting guys at that weight classes on different cards just in case. Obviously, things go on.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm just throwing stuff out.
No. Sure. It could be, man. My guess is as good as yours.
Well, let's focus on Barboza. Tell me about him as a fighter.
He's tall. He's rangy. He seems to have been increasingly more powerful his last few fights. He's got some height and reach on me. I think he's got natural size on me. I mean, this guy was a football player back in high school, and he was walking around like 215.
Oh, wow.
Back in high school. It was obviously in a whole different regimen and diet and training program back then, But, look, I think he's got some natural size on me, and he's got a little bit of youth. I mean, he's 28. I'm 32, but I think I'm a young 32, But outside of, like, some physical advantages, I really don't see what he's got on me when it comes down to like skill and ability, athleticism, and even just the experience and craft, along with like some of the natural athleticism and boxing skill. I still think is on my side. And definitely, I think quality of opposition and craft and experience is on my side, along with I still have the tools and the skill set to compete at the elite level. So, he's got some size, maybe some power on me and height, but I think skills pay the bills. So we will see.
You just look at his resume. I guess that we see Mike Reed and I see Alvarado, who's a little bit past it. By the time he beat and stopped Alvarado, are those the two names that maybe jumped out at you that he fought?
You know what? I watched both of them. First off, I'm not impressed with the Mike Alvarado win at all because
he was a little bit past it.
A little bit. I mean, Alvarado to me. First off, he hadn't made 140 in years. He had a hard time making 47 near the end. And he hadn't fought in like 3 years or what it was. This was not the guy that went 12 rounds with Juan Manuel Marquez or went to war with Brandon Rios. Okay, he looked skinny to me. He looked deflated. He looked like he had no muscle tone or definition. Back down at 140 again, and his reflexes were shot. And his all the drug abuse incurred towards near the end of his career too. I think that showed in his lack of punch resistance when he fought Barboza. And it was just a tailor-made, typical finding a name to put on your belt, another notch on your ledger, a fancy big name. But this guy was a shell of his former self by the time he got in there with Barboza. and I don't take, you know, even they say power is the last thing to go in a fighter. I didn't even see the power from Alvarado.
Mm-hmm.
When Alvarado was known for his power, there was no snap to his shots, nothing. So I'm not reading too much into that win.
How much is it, like you said, experience? You fought for the title in England. You've been hovering around the top of the lightweight division for quite a few years now. How much does your experience play into this fight on Saturday night?
A lot. It plays a lot because and to comment on Mike Reed, I think I'm better than Mike Reed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Mike Reed is in my league.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line. So, but I think experience is a huge factor. I mean, look, I've been there before. I know what it's like to be B-side. He's never known what it's like to be B-side. He doesn't know what it's like to be put on the underdog role, have all the chips stacked against him. And he won't find that out this weekend either. He's got everything on his side. It's his fight to lose. You know, he's got politics and everything else is in his favor. It's his fight to lose. But I know he's coming ready. I know he's going to be in shape. And I think he's humble and he's focused. We have that in common. And we're both going to be in shape. We're both going to fight hard, and may the best man win.
Do you compare this fight to maybe the Dargan fight for you? In the sense that he was the undefeated guy. He was the guy that was maybe being groomed for, something bigger, and then you came in there, and now you don't see any correlation?
100%.
Okay.
100%, especially when I look at the odds too. And even, they just keep saying, this tough Canadian kid who comes forward, he's going to be there and put on the rounds. And that's all they said. That's all Carl saw too. That's all Dargan saw too. And if they think that it was just toughness and just brute conditioning and stubbornness that got me that win against Dargan, then they're in for a surprise on Saturday.
You've won 10 fights in a row. I remember I was up in Canada. I think I broadcasted a couple of those fights in this 10 fight winning streak. Your promoter Dennis Benoit flew me up there to beautiful Cornwall. Beautiful. I was up there twice. I can say I was in Tony Lewis's town twice. So anyway, during that, this might have been the second, third, fourth fight in this streak. I noticed the confidence in you that was a little bit different. I've known you a long time, a little bit different than before. And obviously, you've won several fights since then. And now, just talking to you, your confidence level seems to be at a different place than I've known you. From back even before the Matthews fight.
Well, you know what? Again, that goes back to experience. I look at things differently now. I've recognized that perception is not always reality. And at the end of the day, like I came here to Vegas, a few years ago to see the Pacquiao Marquez fight, the last one where Pacquiao got clipped. And I remember when I came in, I was just taken aback by Vegas and was like, wow, the lights and everything, and being in MGM in that atmosphere and just enjoying Vegas for what it was the week I was down. Mm-hmm. This time, obviously, I'm here in fight mode now. I'm here fighting in Vegas now, but I don't give a fuck. Like the lights are not, and I know they're probably running at half capacity, but they were pre-COVID, obviously. But MGM, none of this matters to me. I don't care. I got friends and family that are making suggestions to me. You should go here. You should go there. You should do this. You should do that. And all I'm thinking about is Vegas could be a hot zone. I don't want to run into any chance of doing any kind of daily fun outings and enjoying my time here. And then I come across somebody that gets me testing positive. That's one. And secondly, I'm not here for vacation. Yeah. Like I'm coming to war. I don't give a fuck about Vegas. I'll come back here after the fight to enjoy myself, but I don't care right now. And I'm here to do a job.
And to be honest with you, and you may have, like I said, you've been around town, maybe you haven't paid attention. I don't think the city is even buzzing like it normally should be or would be. No. From what I remember, like it's still like MGM is still. I mean, the casinos and the slot machines are still pumping. Yeah. People are here. It's still buzzing, but it's not. It's like I said. I think it's running at half speed. I don't know. You told me right before we got on that you're going to enter the bubble aspect of this tomorrow. Have you talked to any fighters on how to, maybe spend your time for the 4 days? It's gonna be different than what your normal for a fight week.
Yeah, actually, I talked to I know a couple of guys that were previously fought on these cards in the past couple months, and like one of them suggested to me to because as soon as we get in, we to the bubble, we immediately get tested for COVID. So I think it's in the evening time, like from 6 till 10 o'clock is when they do the COVID testing. So that's when we got to check in. But once we get checked in, until the results come, as soon as we get tested, we're in our rooms for the next, maybe 12 hours or so. So they suggested to me, get there if it's from 6 to 10, get there towards the later half of the time slots.
So you can just go to sleep.
Just go to sleep. Exactly. Yeah.
And what about during the days following? I guess Thursday, you may have to, you probably can't do much. Friday, you probably can't do much except the weigh-in, and then Saturday, you probably can't do much either.
Yeah, I can't. No, and nothing really changes from what I would normally do around this time of a fight. Anyways, I'm pretty much isolated, anyways, at this point. I'm just tunnel vision and focusing on the task at hand. Stay off my feet as much as possible, and just fuel up and build up my strength. So it's not a big change to me.
I've asked several fighters this. Obviously, during fight week, you normally you're shaking out a little bit. You're doing some light activity almost every day. You probably won't be doing as much of that. And I know fighters, they go in, they're always sore when they get into the ring on Saturday night. A little bit sore, just human nature. Excuse me. You feel you may be a little bit more fresher as you get into the ring on Saturday?
I don't see why I wouldn't be. I think looked, to be honest with you, like I've had to, because I never stopped training throughout the pandemic, even like I wasn't going full tilt, but I was staying active enough to maintain before training camp fully opened up, that I had some injuries that I had to treat throughout this, these past 2-3 months. And it was just some different injuries that they got addressed, they got treated, they healed and everything else. And we got right on track just at the right time, so we can come in healthy. And but I always made sure to never, I didn't overtrain. I listened to my body. I know when to take rest days. And I think sleep is the biggest thing too, making sure you're getting on a good, consistent sleep schedule, and everything should be fine.
Now that you're a 140-pounder, I know you're 100% focused on your fight. Who do you like in the main event on Saturday night?
I think Ramirez. Is maybe just a little too relentless. I think his pressure and his output as the fight goes on, he's going to force him more and more into his range and his kind of fight. But Postel is tall and rangy. He can box well, really well. And I think it's going to be tricky for Ramirez in the early rounds. But I think as the fight goes on, Ramirez will slowly turn it into a battle of attrition and force it his way.
Last couple questions. What do you want to say to the fans out there in closing before we see you on Saturday night?
Everybody, all the guys, my continued supporters in and around Canada and the States, and especially my hometown, thank you for always supporting me and being by my side, and through thick and thin. And to the motherfuckers who doubted me and are writing me off, thank you too. Enjoy the fight.
It's unbelievable. I've known this guy 10 years. I don't think he said 2 curse words in all I've known, more than 10 years. It's crazy. he's like a truck driver tonight. Where do we find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram, Tony_Lightning_Lewis, and just Tony Lewis on Facebook.
And one thing, I noticed your shirt. You got the Batman shirt. So does that make Arnold Barboza? Is he gonna be your Joker on Saturday night?
That's a good one. I'm gonna use that. Why not?
That's why they pay me the big bucks here. Well, we thank you for a few minutes of your time, and we'll look forward to seeing you. And best of luck on Saturday night, Tony.
Thanks, Mark. Always good talking with you. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.